Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I am your host, Kimberly Cloud. Today I will be doing the rest of the Apple podcast and then doing a show on Trump. And I will get all of this done in this go round. So let me go ahead and write Mike. This stuff is published. This is going to take nothing but 10 minutes. I can't show y'all this part because I'm on my emails. Okay. The Kimberly. Let's do this together, y'all. Oh, speaking of which, so I um just found out that I'm going to be a grandmother. Well, I didn't just find out. I talked about it before, and also um it's a boy. So, much blessings should go their way. God bless him. Paul Thornton is already downloaded, so but we're still going to go to Paul Thornton and go to on air. During time, I am so glad I got that. Where are you at, Mr. Thornton? Kimberly. Hey, Kate. Okay. Follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Facebook. This show is about Mr. Thornton going into talking about his short books that he has written. Thornton has written over 27 books and has been mentioned on the mentioned in magazines. Business magazines. Mr. Thornton has spoken at about 35 events. It was at here. And we're done. Not quite. Okay. All we got to do now is wait. Um, That's a scary thing because it's like DC is where I was born and partially raised. And it's like things are starting to happen bad for DC, even though not we, but they are taking the time out to, like he said, liberate, you know. So it's sad to know the statistics on how bad DC has gotten. This is a project that is going to take 6 months to a year to, or no, 6 months on indefinitely to help do, or let's just say short term, long term goals. Short term is 6 months, long term is during his presidency and beyond that. So it's basically indefinite. But to fix, the crime there, it's sad to know these thugs get out there and they carjack people, and then you got big diverse group, a big diverse group. You got, you know, hate crimes going on, and you got because at LaFont, I forgot what it's called, y'all. Don't laugh at me for my DC folk that sneak and watch me. But LaFont Pla- uh, Plaza, Lafont Plaza, that's where all the gay people go in DC. And it used to be a lot of crime, hate crime out there. It's hate crime here too. And carjackings and car, they'll just take your car here. That's all you hear about here. The statistics here speak differently. They'll just take your car. They'll wait till you leave and they'll take your car. I know somebody that drove a long way away. It was on the news here, and all of a sudden they sat out there and they took the vehicle. They took the vehicle. They took their vehicle after driving 14 hours from somewhere. I don't know the whole story. I forgot the whole story, but they drove 14 hours. That's a long time, buddy. And they sat up there and they took their car. They don't jack you here. They just take your stuff. You know, it's more higher. They probably carjack you. They probably do, depending on what city. Like if it's Fife, Washington, FIFE, Washington, they probably would jack you because it's areas where it's open spaces and stuff of that nature. But um, for the most part, the statistics don't lie. DC should not be the worst place to live at in our country. I mean, this is the District of Columbia we speak of. You know, it done gotten really bad, and then you throw it's like throwing. You got crabs in a barrel. You got this big boiling pot. No, it's warm, and you got crabs in there, and you throw in something that crabs eat right before boiling it, and then you throw in a couple of sharks, and then you throw in a couple of whales, killer whales. That's what's happening. You got the street punks that go around doing stupid stuff like robbing and jacking and doing stealing and stuff, and then you got the extra shit. They're sitting up there doing they're doing extra damage, collateral damage to whatever else is going on right now. This is my first time watching this. That's another thing I don't get. you know I don't get phony crime. Please, you know don't try to sweep crime under the rug, because you know you will get called out. Now you will. That is the worst thing you can do, is pretend like crime isn't existing in a city and state that is actually existing. So your state can look good. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand, you know, on TV you watch the news, and the news is talking about killing this and killing this and robbery this, and they only can talk about a certain amount of stuff. They only can talk about a certain amount of stuff because they only got 30 minutes to an hour worth or up to 2 hours worth of footage, you know. But what about all the other crimes, all the other robberies, all the other break-ins, all the other carjackings, all the other car stealings? Please say Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you could, but you probably won't because you got so many other major cities. Chicago, yes, is bad. That is so sick. That is so sick, man. How sick people, everybody want to be the hero, or not a hero, but a villain, and get credit for it. You know, it's just sick. You know, that taking another person's life, is a sick thing to do. Unless you suffer from mental health issues, and made mistakes, or whatever the case may be. If you don't suffer and you're sitting up there literally killing people, with you must suffer from some sort of mental health issue, but you're not getting treated. Like he said, people came over here, without nothing, like with mental health issues, and that's sad. People are dying, that are Republicans, and they're out on the front lines. Any of them, anything can happen to any of them, even with their guards, except for the higher up. It is, as it goes higher, the Secret Service come out, and they be on buildings and stuff, and the only reason why I know, because I watch Hollywood, and but it's just, it's sad. It's sad. People are dying, and we need to fix that. Unless people want to see a bloodbath and people die, I suggest we start taking almost 400 million heads and thinking about a way. There's 400 million people here, and Trump is trying to fix it. I mean, yes, he's very, very sharp and smart, but why does it take one man to have to do this when years this could have been fixed? Oh, what? The criminals have their taste, the share of crime, why everybody else turns a blind eye, like has what has been happening in the past 30 38, 39 years, 40 years almost.
Yeah, I just said years. Yeah, I understand, but to get the illegals out is going to take years. And I understand that's fair enough, sir. Why must gang members spray graffiti on the walls? Why do they have to spray graffiti and ruin the infrastructure that the government had done on that? Those buildings are to be enjoyed by not only you but me and everyone else. The way the artists and the architectures and the people who built those buildings, and even the signs up on the through the highway, sprayed down with spray paint. Like, it's just sad. Why must you do that to a city? Are you, like, what are you accomplishing? That everybody has to see that? We don't want to see it. Do it at your house. Go inside, do it at your house. When you move, repaint the place, because if you don't repaint the place, they're going to charge you, you know. But don't go out in public doing it
like you own government buildings. They got FBI agents out on the street. That's when you know it's real, when they showing their face. FBI agents never show their face unless you are a person of interest. They may come and bump past you, and then you may see them when they bust you, but other than that, you never see their face or know who they are. When they are coming out, that's a big deal. They like, we rolling deep now. That is crazy, yo. That is crazy. I'm proud of the park police too. I mean, think about it. When they first started building the monuments and stuff, did you think it'd ever come a day when graffiti would have to be added? Like, why would they do that? Marking their territory, whether man or woman, marking their territory. That's not how DC should look. When higher up people from prime ministers and presidents and other people, great people come over, just like Trump says, and they see that graffiti, they look at that as weakness, that the people, the bad people run this city. And the good people are just scared to say something and it's going to just accept it for what it is. I love the way she talks. She said, "Don't underestimate us. Don't underestimate us. They could be keeping an eye on the activity. I believe it's next to the White House or the Capitol. I don't remember, or both. Wherever these encampments are, they could be keeping track of activity. That's a national security threat. They could be keeping track of the activity going on in inside the White House or Capitol. I believe it's the White House encampments where they have like stuff people like a couple of miles like, but you can see it, and people walk past it all the time. And that is, from other countries, you wonder, well, what are you there for? You know, well, what are you there for? There you're homeless. People die in encampments, especially big ones. They need to clean up the shelters too. I have to get off of here. I have to get off of here, but I'll be back on at um I don't know what time I'll be back on here, but I will be back on here. I have to go to my next interview. So we're gonna wish me luck on that, and we're gonna see how that goes.
Never waste my time, you are I want.